You can make the best video in the world, but if nobody clicks through, if nobody is attracted by your thumbnail and title, nobody sees it, and it's a complete, utter flop. Today, we are talking about how to make your packaging work so that people click through and watch your video. Believe it or not, this is something that my clients talk about all the time. They wonder why their video has no views and they think they need to make a better video. Truth is, it's not the video that's bad. Maybe nobody even saw it. Click-throughs or views do not mean you had a good video. That would be view duration, which shows you how good the video is. The problem is getting somebody to click into it in the first time. When they click into it, they don't know yet whether or not your video is good or your video is bad. So let's fix that problem so that you get views. We are live most weekdays right here at about 1:30 Central Time. So grab your lunch, come on over, let's join a chat together, and let's talk about growing our YouTube channels. I'm Greg. I've helped many people monetize their YouTube channels, and I myself run multiple YouTube channels generating me real money, and I'd love to help you generate real money with your YouTube channel as well. All right, so when we're determining whether or not our thumbnail and title are working, notice I said that different than most people because it's important. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But when we're determining whether or not our thumbnail and title are working, we want to look at click-through rate, not necessarily the amount of views. And that is going to show as a percentage number. What that means is YouTube showed, we'll say, your video, which is called impressions, your video thumbnail to 100 people. That means 100 impressions. And if 10% of them clicked through, that means you actually got 10 views. If 5% of them click through on 100, you have 5 views. So that's how that works. The reason we want to look at CTR or click-through rate is because that will give us an indicator of how well people are clicking through. The amount of views themselves is not a good indicator all by itself because maybe YouTube only gave you 10 impressions or 100 impressions and not 100,000 impressions. So we need to know what our click-through rate is, and a good click-through rate is going to be a good click-through rate for especially a beginner would be 5%. So I would say aim for 5%, but the more you can make that number go up, the better. So we really want to aim ultimately for between 5 and 10%. Now that's really hard to achieve, so don't kill yourself trying to get there. Get above the 2% mark first. That is a huge first goal. Get your click-through rate above 2%. Now, over time, a video that has been out for a while, an evergreen video, that CTR number will start to drop. And that's okay because what's happening is YouTube is starting to show it to more people, finding out if there's more people interested. But in doing so, it's going to find people who are not interested, which will lower your CTR, your click-through rate on that video. That's okay. Ultimately, within the first week, you want to reach as high of a click-through rate number as possible. After that, it may vary a little bit, but ultimately, click-through rate matters more than views because views are only an indicator of how many people did watch after they had an impression. So click-through rate tells us the amount of those people, the percentage of those people clicking through. The higher your click-through rate is, the more impressions YouTube will give you. Now, I say that with a caveat. There are slow watch periods in general. And sometimes YouTube is just going to give those to bigger channels. That's okay. Don't worry about it. If your video continues to sit there, they will continue to test it out with markets of people to see if people want to click through on your video. So don't get discouraged by low impressions. You're a small channel. Everybody's got to start somewhere. I know I certainly did. And every time I start a new channel, I pretty much start over with that new channel again. So it's okay. All right, so here's a quick question for you, and I want to hear your answers down in the chat. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much time do you spend on your thumbnail? 1 would be only 1 minute. A 10 would be about an hour on building that thumbnail. So give me, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much time are you spending on your thumbnail? If you have a good idea of the actual amount of time, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever it is, you can write in that full amount of time and not even use my scale of 1 to 10. But I would love to hear from you. You see, the reason this matters is when we get into YouTube, we want to make the best video possible. We really do. And we really focus hard on that. And then we get discouraged when nobody watches our video because nobody was intrigued by our thumbnail. So what you really need to do is focus real heavy on that thumbnail. Without a good thumbnail, without a good hook, without a good reason for people to stop scrolling, nobody is going to watch your super amazing video that you spent hours on when you spent 3 minutes on the thumbnail. It's just not going to happen. So the thumbnail is critical. You know, you've heard the saying, don't judge a book by its cover. We all judge a book by its cover. When you go to the bookstore and start looking at book after book after book after book, why do you pick up a book off the shelf? Because its cover intrigued you. So you didn't just like read the title completely or see a boring book and decide to pick it up. No, when you're just looking at all those books, the one with the intriguing cover is the one that you picked up off the shelf and gave a little bit more attention to, and you just scan past all the others. It is exactly the same with YouTube. People are scanning through and they're seeing thumbnail after thumbnail after thumbnail. And the one that they're going to click on is the one that intrigues them. So the video with the best thumbnail wins. Whether or not the video itself is any good, people will never get to the video if the thumbnail itself isn't working. So we need to spend more than that typical minute or two on a thumbnail and really think hard about what we do with our thumbnail. So what we need to know is, do we want to perform in search? Do we want to perform in browse? So these are two different ways that people typically find, especially new channels, and find new videos that they wouldn't normally watch. Search is they're searching for a specific topic. Browse is they're just scrolling thumbnails. So did they type in the topic that you cover, or are they just scrolling, looking for something that pops for them? So the thumbnail and title that we use here is going to be a little bit different. And also you can consider this somewhat of a YouTube SEO at the same time. So when you want to perform in search, you want to make sure your title includes a keyword that's important to the topic. Because if somebody types in, we'll just say Chevy 3.0 engine. I mean, let's just say that's a big topic. I don't even know that engine exists, but you want that to be in your title so that your video will pop up when people are searching for that. So if you want to really perform well in search, you want to include kind of that keyword phrase that people are using when they type it in, looking for that information. If you want to work well in browse, you're going to need a title that is a little more conversational, more inviting, but also a thumbnail that stands out and grabs somebody's attention as they're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. All right. So what you want is kind of your key for SEO, for search. You really want like that key target word, like Chevy 3.0 engine. And then you want a benefit and a hook kind of thing. So Chevy 3.0 engine explodes, or Chevy 3.0 engine lifters fixed. Something like that. I don't know. I shouldn't have used engine as an example because I don't know much about engines, to be honest. And obviously anyone here watching this as a car person knows that very clearly by just the phrases I'm using. But you really want to target keyword followed by a benefit / hook. That's going to perform really well in search. So think like if you really focus on morning routines and people are typing in the perfect morning routine, maybe the perfect or a good example of a title would be productivity morning routine, how to wake up at 5 a.m. So that covered what they're searching for and some specificity on what they're looking for. You know, you could use some power words here, like words that trigger curiosity. And this is important because you do want to trigger curiosity when they see this, like secret, mistake, fast, easy, don't, stop, or finally, I have the answer for you. Now, as I flip this over, you want to keep in mind that you really want to keep your title as short as possible as well, because especially on mobile, that title is going to cut off at 50 characters. I believe on TVs, it does the same thing, cuts off at 50 characters. So anything past the 50 characters, a lot of times people aren't going to see. So that real intriguing part needs to be in that first 50 characters. If your title goes beyond that, it's okay, but a lot of people aren't going to see the rest of the title. So think of it this way. If I said, you really need to watch this YouTube video today because, and then I just stop there. Well, you want to know why? Because why? Why do I need to watch this video? That's kind of what you want to do with your thumbnail and title. Create enough curiosity and not explain everything in the thumbnail and title. Create that curiosity to why somebody's going to click in, because they have to finish what you started with that title and thumbnail. So that's really important. I see a lot of people try and like tell the whole story in a thumbnail and title. Don't do that. Create enough curiosity. Don't finish everything. Don't complete everything. So give somebody a reason to click in to get the rest of the information. That's important. Now, as far as the thumbnail, people see thumbnails before they read the titles. I don't sit there and read title. No, I scroll by until a thumbnail catches my attention. So in a thumbnail, you want it to be bright. You really most often want you to be in the thumbnail. And make yourself big, but you only need like from the chest up really big, because people want to connect with you. If you're just kind of hidden in the background or not there, I'm less likely to connect with that thumbnail. So put you in the thumbnail, and along with you, something curious about the subject of your video today. So, yep, somebody just walked out my door. So sorry about that. So make sure you're in it, and then something curious about today's topic is in it. Now, do you put words on? Do you not put words on? This is a great debate actually on whether or not you should put words on your thumbnail. You can. People tend to overuse words and over-explain things on their thumbnail. So if you put words on your thumbnail, try and keep the words less than 3, no more than 5 total words. Again, you're not trying to give the whole story away. Those words should entice more curiosity. So if you're putting words on your thumbnail, you want to entice curiosity, and you want those words to essentially make me want to read the title of the video. So don't repeat words either, like the best YouTube video for blah, 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 blah. You don't want to do that. You want almost the words in the thumbnail to lead into the title. The best YouTube thumbnail idea is to create the best titles and thumbnails for your videos. So you don't just repeat directly, you kind of carry the theory through from your thumbnail into your title. So again, the idea behind the thumbnail is to make me stop scrolling and want to read the title or potentially click into your video. The idea behind the title is to completely make me want to click into the title. Click into the video. Now, keep in mind, you don't want clickbait, but yet at the same time, you want to make it clickable. So to make it clickable, you want to give somebody a reason to click, which would be not finishing your statement or saying there's something valuable inside without saying what that is. So think a cooking video. Let's just go there for a minute. Say I'm cooking the best birthday cake ever with only 3 ingredients, eggs, butter, and sugar. You probably can't even make a cake with just those 3 ingredients. But now I actually have no reason to watch the video because you just explained it all in the title. Like, okay, so you combine a cup of sugar with 3 eggs and some butter. Got it. I don't need to watch the video, or I'm just not intrigued. But if you say the easiest birthday cake ever, only 3 ingredients, I may be more interested. Easiest birthday cake ever. Make it in 3 minutes. Okay, I'm intrigued. I might watch your video to see what you have to say about making a birthday cake, but I didn't explain how I make it in 3 minutes, and I didn't tell you exactly what the ingredients were. You've got to watch the video to figure that part out. I could say something more along the lines of easiest birthday cake ever, uses only ingredients you have. Well, I don't always have flour, sugar, butter, oil, eggs, milk. I mean, a lot of things that you might normally associate with baking. So maybe that's intriguing. Maybe it's not. Maybe somebody who bakes all the time says, I always have all the ingredients I need to bake a cake. So that might not be intriguing. So run it through the intriguing test. Think, would I want to click on this to learn more? Or is it a title that explains everything? Sometimes we get kind of wrapped up in ourselves and the title that we came up with because we want the best title to explain everything. We want the best title to cause me to want to click. The best title left something out or left me curious enough to want to watch the video. And you really need to work hard on that. Now, also, when you include yourself on the thumbnail, like I said, you only want like this much of you in there and really big, blow it up. You really want your eyes looking at the person who's viewing the thumbnail. You don't want to be looking over here and that's yourself because that person doesn't connect with me. You want to look at the person you're connecting with because they'll connect with your eyes, they'll connect with you and want to look into your video. Now also think of your screen, your thumbnail space in thirds. You've got, there, I can see it. I'm in the middle third, and then over on this side is a third of my screen, and then over on this side is a third. So the main focal point you want in the center third. Maybe put you off to one of the other thirds, and then put text in a third. That's a good way to think about how to divide up the space. You've got thirds of your screen. It's going to be about there. My arms are the dividing lines of the thirds for your screen. Divide up your screen into thirds. Make sure that center space is the most important hook. And then make sure you're in one of the thirds. And then anything else can be in the other third. If you've got any questions about this, go ahead and write those in. I will address them. And even after this video is over, if you write questions or thoughts in the comments, I read those and I will respond to them as I can so that your questions are still answered. Put my notes off to the side there. All right, so you know, so often we get so wrapped up in our video. And I want to go back to that a minute. We talked a lot about thumbnail. We talked quite a bit about title. And I know I'm talking a little bit generic here. With your questions, I can answer things more specific to your case. But I want to go back to that click-through rate a minute. We get so wrapped up, and I think you do need to hear this again. So wrapped up into we didn't get views, so therefore the video is not good enough. Remember, if your thumbnail isn't good enough to make people curious, you will not get views. It has nothing to do with video quality. So I really want you to start looking at view duration for your video. If somebody clicked in, how long did they view it? That's going to tell you whether or not you had a good video. You will never have a 100% view duration, because some people will accidentally click in and leave, and that's going to cut down on your view duration a lot. Somebody who watched for 1 second of your video will count essentially as a 0% in the average. So you're not going to have 100%. So don't even think about that as a major strike when you see like a 30% view duration. That's okay, 30%. That means some of the people watched all the way through, and some of them clicked away right away. Now, a great way to extend view duration, and I know we're getting a little off topic here for a minute, but a great way to extend view duration is now take your thumbnail and your title and make your first 30 seconds really match up well with what you said in the thumbnail and the title. And that way, when people click into your video, they don't feel like you did a bait and switch on them or a clickbait type thumbnail and title. You want to give them some content right away that lets them know you are going to provide what you promised in that thumbnail and title. And that's going to really help you increase your view duration. But if it takes you a half hour to get around to the point of what was in that thumbnail and that title, people are going to stop watching because, well, they think you're never going to get there and you just clickbaited them in. And nobody likes clickbait. Nobody likes clickbait. So let's summarize a little bit of what we talked about today. SEO gets you found. And SEO, we want to include keywords and topic in our title. Thumbnails get you the click. People click because of a thumbnail and that title that works with the thumbnail. So you need a catchy thumbnail, bright, clear, grabs my attention as I'm scrolling through all of the thumbnails. Your thumbnail and your title must work together to make me curious and click into your video. So go to YouTube today, look through your thumbnails that pop up on the screen as you just go to youtube.com and start scrolling, and notice which ones jump out at you. Don't sit there and study them and study them and study them, because that's not how the viewer works with YouTube. They scroll. So notice the ones that grab your attention, that make you want to stop and at least read the title, if not fully click. Because those stand out to you, you can grab some good ideas off of those. I can almost tell you what they are. They're going to be bright. They're going to have the YouTuber's face on it. And they're going to have some very chunky words, if they have any words at all. But you may even find some of your favorite ones, or the ones that make you stop the most, don't even have words. One more last thing that I'm going to drop here quick is make sure your thumbnail is not cluttered. A cluttered mind takes no action. So when you have a cluttered thumbnail, it clutters up the thinking process and then you don't get the click. So make it very clean, very simple, but grabby at the same time. If you do these things, you will get the click, you will get the views, and you'll see your YouTube channel really start to grow. Hey, if you've got any questions about this, like I said before, you can go ahead and comment those in. I will respond to them. Nobody's writing in questions right now, so we've got nothing to address at the moment, but I will answer your questions in the comments even after this live is over. Also, if you want to work directly with me, there is a link down in the description. It's probably down near the end of the description, where I will gladly help you one-on-one. I've helped a lot of people build profitable YouTube channels, and I would be honored to help you build a profitable YouTube channel as well. Hey, I thank you so much for joining me, and I tend to do this every day, every weekday at about 1:30 p.m. Central Time. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I hope you join us live and write in some questions live. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have an amazing day.